Cyber Bay 2025, the inaugural event here in Tampa Bay. Arnie Bellini spearheading this incredible event, over 1,000 registrants in downtown Tampa, 3 days, absolutely incredible. There was a mix of educators and managed service providers and technical people and vendors, and it was excellently run, really well attended. The content was fantastic. Arnie's keynote was great. And it was just a wonderful event. I was so happy to be part of it. We set up the podcast. We had 4 great interviews there. First was Darnell Taylor, a wonderful instructor, teacher at a STEM high school in a county near Tampa. Great insight from Darnell, I think, her very much. Nia Lucky, really interesting, from battlefield to boardroom, building calm and chaos. I was first introduced to her by her TEDx that she just did. It was a great TEDx that she talked about cybersecurity. Really great conversation with Nia. Deral Heiland, Coins, Code, and Cyber, from visual history to IoT security. Great talking with Deral. He is a visual historian. He loves history and he gets visual, solid items, but it emerges perfectly. You wouldn't think it would, kind of old meets new, but he spends, his days and nights now with security over the past 20 years. Really great conversation with Deral. And then lastly, Melissa Dark. Great conversation with Melissa. She's trying to help get teachers educated on cyber so they can teach how education fuels security. Great conversation with Melissa as well. It's a great event, wonderful event. I'm so glad to be a part of it. I can't wait till next year. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because I was working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How'd I lose the weight? Just one word: discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision: growth through learning from others. Yeah. What's a visual historian?
Oh, visual historian. That's somebody who's fascinated with history, but they actually like to have it physically in their hands. So I have an item. So an example is like, hey, I want to learn a little bit about Roman history as an example. So I go out and you get a book. It gives you a little foray into different Roman emperors. But then you acquire coins from each one of those emperors as an example. Now, not only can you talk about that particular emperor per se, but now you have something physical in your possession.
And how does that enhance the experience?
I think it brings it home for people. They're like, oh yeah, history, yeah, whatever. But then you show them a coin. Normally when I travel, I usually carry stuff with me, but I was hauling so much stuff in my backpack this time, I did not bring it with me. So I bring things, I've brought old Roman coins before with me. Other things I carry with me are original photographs from the Civil War, like generals and stuff like that.
Whoa. Those Civil War things are incredible, aren't they? I've never been to Appomattox. I've never been to these locations. Have you?
Yeah, I've been to a few. Been to Gettysburg. I've been to some places in Virginia. Visited a few of those. And I also lived near Charleston, South Carolina for about 17 years. So
one of my favorite cities. Yeah,
beautiful city.
It is. Yeah, low country.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
And why? Because it's below sea level.
It's a swamp.
Yeah, it is a swamp. Yeah.
And they just filled in dirt where they wanted to build something.
Amazing. I've taken some of the local tours too, where you can still see like fingerprints in some of the bricks and things, like on some of the houses there. Really, really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. So I worked at the newspaper down there for almost a decade.
Did you?
So that was kind of amazing being right downtown like that. And one of the things, they were doing a restoration of the area called the four corners of law, where each corner, one was like a church, and each branch of the government, each corner, it's called the four corners of law. And they were renovating one of those places, and they found a Civil War artillery round that had gone through one of the walls and was embedded into the ground right there. So it was kind of amazing.
So as a kid, were you interested in history?
Somewhat. I was a stamp collector as a child. So.
And that's, I mean, when I think stamp collectors, I think of Elvis, right? That was a big move, wasn't it, when the United States had an Elvis stamp?
Oh, yes. Yeah, they've had stamps on about everybody that you can think of. And that was one of the things as a child, it was a way to learn history also, because you had these stamps that portrayed certain people throughout American history.
Interesting.
And you would collect those and you would learn about the history of that person. I wish I could remember. I always joke it. If I could remember just 10% of everything I forgot, I'd be a freaking genius.
Yeah. And so it's not just U.S. You like European history as well. Like you mentioned Rome.
Yeah, to some extent.
I see.
My biggest, obviously, with Roman history, that was such a big part of world history that I've had an interest in that. But generally, I'm most fascinated in American history. So I collect a lot of Civil War type stuff. Wow. I have uniforms.
Do you really?
I have uniforms in Civil War. I ended up my wife's family had one of the guys and her great uncle, whatever, who two of them that fought during the Civil War. One of them died from typhus outside of Falmouth, Virginia, in December 1st, 1862. I actually have his uniform. So.
Wow! And was it thick material? Was it?
Yeah, it's kind of a wool material, very petite uniform. He was very small.
Interesting.
And because the question I always had was this his uniform or is it his brother's jacket type thing? And I was able to find. I have all their letters too that they wrote. Both of them wrote. And the younger brother is the one that lived. The older brother, I believe, is the one that died. The younger brother was big. He was big stature, and this is a very small person.
I see.
I don't even think my wife could get this uniform. I was a very small, petite person.
The Civil War, I end up, this is brother against brother. It was how many dead? Millions.
Oh gosh, it was. I can't remember the actual numbers, but most of them died from disease.
That's a good point, huh? Yeah. And there's been, I don't know if they're good or not. Maybe you could tell me, Deral. But like, there's been some series out, some I don't want to say television, it's not television anymore, but like streaming shows that have kind of depicted some of these areas, and even better than others.
I've watched so many of them,
right?
Civil War shows, of Civil War series and stuff like that, that I couldn't pick any of them out from any of the others. They all kind of blend together. I've watched so many of them, but again, I'm like a visual historian, so I learn the history. I don't get overly deep into it sometimes, all the time, but it's the idea of owning part of that history.
And so, of course, the transition here, Deral, between history and advanced cybersecurity, what you're doing now, it seems like such opposites.
It is. It's an ability to separate the two. I live, eat, and breathe cybersecurity.
Wow.
So that not only is that my job, it is basically my life, and it has been for 20 plus years. So the history thing, the collecting thing is kind of a break from that. I go from very high tech to no tech, and just dive into the history and stuff like that. I actually have on my property, I actually have a building, a small building right now that is actually set up to mimic a late 19th century apothecary drugstrugstore.
Wow.
And it's all period stuff. So it's a place I go into in the morning, have my coffee, read my Bible.
Interesting.
Shut down. The walls are thick. They're well insulated, so it's nice and quiet. And I just sit in a 19th century world.
Just to kind of reset from all the cyber, from all the...
Yeah, it's a daily reset that I do. It's a chance to sit down, like I said, read the Bible, pray, have my coffee in the morning, and think about what kind of cool security things I'm going to do that day. So.
What's the current state of cybersecurity, Deral?
Oh gosh, that's probably a very rough question. I think it's in a good state. I think we're going in the right direction. Organizations are focusing on improving their security. Companies are focusing on delivering good products, good services to help those companies be successful. It's what we do at Rapid7. Our goal is to really partner with companies, not just sell them software and throw it over the wall, but actually partner with them to help them be very successful in their endeavors.
So, how is AI affecting cybersecurity?
I think it's a couple directions
Yes.
there. It's adding a twist to the security that we need to be concerned with. You know, how's this going to impact security from a threat perspective? That's a big thing. And then on the other hand, it's helping us to improve security in a lot of ways. It gives us the ability to one person to do more than the work of one person in that case. I mean, I use AI quite regularly to augment my research. It's often, I refer to it as Google on steroids.
Yeah, sure is.
Gives me the ability to, instead of spending hours online trying to find research data and information or technical data, I can quickly use AI to ramp that knowledge level up, and then also use it in a few cases for brainstorming through ideas and concepts and threats and risk and things like that, because it's a massive realm of information that can quickly be accessed and evaluated that way.
So we're here at the Cyber Bay event here in downtown Tampa. What are some of your goals this week?
I usually show up at these places to interact with people. That's one of my favorite things. I don't always go to a lot of talks, probably not any scheduled for today because I'm speaking later today. But tomorrow I have a few lined up. I think one of them's an AI talk that I want to go into. It looked interesting. I don't remember the name of it right now, but at the moment it looked interesting. So the goal is to interact with people, interact with students, interact with some of the professors from USF,
University of South Florida.
Yeah, make new contacts.
Yeah.
So talk about my research, get feedback from people, things like that.
So what should businesses be concerned about when it comes to cybersecurity? Small businesses, let's go there.
Small businesses, one of their biggest problems is resource. They're very resource limited. So often in those cases, they need to be able to supplement that lack of resources. So they need to find good solutions. They may look at managed solutions as one of the typical things that a lot of these companies look at.
Yes.
How to augment your forces to better manage your security. It's one of the things I often encourage companies. I've done that for a number of years. I've been in doing consulting and pen testing, and then what I do now.
Penetration testing.
Penetration testing. I would engage companies where we do these assessments, and you would give them a list of all these typical vulnerabilities, and they don't have the manpower a lot of times to fix those things. And a lot of times they don't have the manpower to know, hey, have we been breached? Has somebody attacking us? What does that mean? In those cases there, I'm like, you can go out and buy a lot of tools, but then you're going to have people behind those tools to be able to make heads or tails about all that data. And that's where managed services can come in really handy, the ability to augment that. You basically have a 24/7 SOC, Security Operations Center, and somebody else does that work for you.
And do you work with small businesses? Do you work with managed service providers at all, MSPs?
Rapid7's MSP.
It's actually considered an MSP.
We have a managed services.
I see. Very good. So, Deral, has there been anything in the last month or so you changed your mind on?
Oh, wow. I really don't have an answer to that, sadly.
Could be anything.
You know, I'm always open to learning new things and expanding that knowledge. So I'd have to admit, right off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that comes off as like, I didn't know this and now I do, and it's changed my mind on something. But I'm always looking for that.
Me too.
You know, because it helps us be better.
Yeah,
and better what we do.
Does. Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I show up to engage with people. Because we talk to people that are out there in the field, that they're doing this stuff. And since I do a lot of IoT type stuff, I always encourage people, let's talk about IoT. My talk about today focuses on some of the
information of things, Internet of Things.
Internet of Things, kind of the implications of what happens when those devices come to an end of life. You got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Well, how do you get rid of them securely? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm always interested in people's thoughts and ideas around that. How are they doing it? What methods are they actually using to be able to do that? And that's a chance for me to learn new things and maybe potentially change my mind on things.
Certainly.
Often I find myself trying to change people's minds, not the other way around.
Right.
When it comes to IoT, I run into a lot of organizations that in the past that are like, oh, we ain't going to have no IoT. No, we don't allow IoT on our network. The truth is they have IoT on their network. They just don't realize it. And I always tell them, I'm like, so you're going to abandon any IoT. So what if this is a business enablement? So you are going to not utilize IoT as a business enablement? I assure you your competitors are. Wow. So you need to think about it. It's a technology. Can we leverage this to do our business better? And if you're refusing to do it because it's some kind of scary technology, then you're hurting your own business.
So, Deral, I had an MSP. I started back in the 90s, and I was working way too hard, 14, 16-hour days. You're no stranger to this, and putting exercise and my health in the back seat. And next thing I know, I'm in front of the doctor. She tells me I'm at 340 pounds. I had no idea. I didn't think it was that bad. But she also tells me, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born. Scared the hell out of me. I'm driving home, punching the steering wheel. And so I spent the next 6-7 months, lost about 130 pounds and kept it off. You can't look at it as a finishing line, right? These are like long-term changes. When I tell people this story, they always say, what's your secret, what you do? And I said, there's no secret, just discipline. Motivation, focus, willpower. How does discipline play a role in your life?
Oh, gosh. Basically, I had the same problem you're talking about.
Really?
Yeah. So I was a workaholic, horrible workaholic in a larger point of my early career. Was in the Navy. You don't have a life when you're in the Navy. It's the Navy.
Yes.
So that worked pretty good. Well, then I got out of the Navy. I went to work for a company where, again, I was like a workaholic. And eventually got to the point where it was those 15, 16-hour days.
Yes.
And again, the weight went up, become a diabetic, high blood pressure, all of those type of things. Well, I eventually walked away from that.
Good.
I'm like, enough is enough. I'm not being paid well to kill myself. They weren't paying me well at all. So I left that. And again, it was like, hey, let's start focusing on a number of things. Let's move away from the workaholic type thing, start taking better care of my health, start focusing on, the exercises, eating right, monitoring those type of things. So yeah, I've been through that boat too. From a career standpoint, I took another approach. It was like, okay, I'm not doing 16-hour days anymore.
Good.
Doesn't mean I won't do a 16-hour day.
Just not a habit.
But I made a point is like, Deral, if you're going to put in extra hours in something, how's this directly going to benefit you? Career-wise, knowledge-wise, things like that, and not just benefits other people. So I kind of focused on doing that. That doesn't mean, there's been times where it's like, hey, I have a customer and he needs something at 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to stop and I'm going to take care of my customer. But that's not every day, day after day. So my focus was anything after the normal, what you would expect a normal work day. If I'm going to do any work, how's it going to benefit me? How's it going to make me learn knowledge-wise? And I took that approach, and it helped expand my career much further. Because then I wasn't just killing myself, grinding, but I was putting any of those extra hours, focus on building my knowledge and having fun. Because, working a 16-hour day eventually is not fun anymore.
No.
So
it'll catch up to you.
So I left that probably about 20 years ago.
Wow. And discipline itself, you were in the Navy, you have a lot of, you're a visual historian. Does discipline play a role in your life?
I think so.
How so?
Oh gosh. I think it helps me be focused on what's important in life. As I mentioned, I eat and breathe security.
Yeah.
But you have to do it all in moderation. That's why having those hobbies, those spend down times, taking personal time, taking days off, taking vacations, I have to admit I'm not a good vacationer.
Yeah.
I usually take vacations is to do work around the house. You know how that is,
Yes.
fix stuff up. So, but yet that is not the same work. It's not the mental straining type work. The mental strain type work will wear on you after a while.
Yeah, sure will.
So you need to have those hobbies, whether it's, being a visual historian, a collector. I mean, my wife, I try to make sure that the weekends are family.
Good.
I try to avoid too many conferences over weekends. I still do them, but I don't do them all the time. Spend time with the wife and family and do those things. Crawl through antique stores every weekend and just kind of relax and do our thing. So I think from a discipline standpoint, I'm disciplined in my work to deliver value, but then I'm wise enough and smart enough and disciplined enough to stand up and walk away.
Good for you.
And take those breaks when needed, and mental refreshers.
Deral, great pleasure talking to you today. Anybody watching or listening, how can they get in touch with you?
So I have a LinkedIn account. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm also on Twitter. I use all social media for security. So it's all focused on that type of things.
Sure. And your name, Deral, Deral.
Correct.
And Heiland, Heiland.
Yes, that is a unique name. I'm literally the only one on the face of the earth with that name.
Is that right?
So if you punch that into Google, you are going to find me.
Find you.
You're going to find all of my research. That's one good thing about Rapid7. All of my research is publicly published. So everything I do is available online. You can get it through Rapid7 blogs. A lot of things there. Some of the papers are probably easily, quickly linked from my LinkedIn account. I usually publish links to my papers all on there, so any of that work that I'm doing. And then, of course, if you go onto YouTube, you're going to literally find 100 different conferences I spoke at on a number of different topics, and those are all available online too.
Deral, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.